Okay, we're going to get started. We've seen the euro continue to move lower to that area support, which is at 1338. And we'll take a look at what's on tap for the day ahead. We see crude oil also just moved lower. Looked like we put in a short-term top. It was actually selling on the open very early on yesterday, and actually got up pretty close to the lows, then went back up, reshorted it again. 42.16, not 42.16, 46.17 and 46.37. Just got out of the pot for 46.37 just a little while ago, and still have the short from 46.17. So we'll go to the news, see what's driving the market. And I don't know what's going on with the orders this morning. It's starting really slow. It took like forever to go and load up. And I don't know if that's on my end or what, but it just loads up very fast. It took a long time. So as we come today, we're going to have a PPI demand. That's final, so it's not going to really make that big a deal. It will, but it's not that big a deal. It's not like as if it's first print. We do have the retail sales, so that'll move the market. SPUs have been up and down all over the place. I really haven't done that much with SPUs after playing it on the upside all the way to 2104 and playing it on the downside all the way to 2030 and try to get short again, as mentioned the other day, 2080 and a half. And I missed the entry by, I think it was like half a handle or one handle. And then we just gone up and down. I didn't spend no time just dealing with crude and some of the things that trading wise I'm doing. So, University of Michigan, we do get preliminary numbers. 10 a.m. Eastern. They're looking for 90. Previous one was 89.70. So, like I said, PPI core, that's fine with me. I'm saying something they move the needle that much, but retail sales will. Let's see if. Look at this. We talked about this story, and I talked about this story well over a week ago. And I can only see this part because I don't know what's going on with others. The dollar hit a 2-week high against a basket of crunches on Friday, posting its best fortnightly performance since February, bolstered by a view that the U.S. Federal Reserve is still on track to raise rates before any other major central bank. I said that last week, that ultimately, when it all comes said and done, they're going to say, well, you know what, nobody else can raise the rates. Ultimately, the U.S. is still going to be raising rates before everybody. And I mean, I said that in the last week is to bolster the case that the high was going to be 1870 for the euro. And that ultimately people are going to go, you know what, I mean, whether it's in June or September or in October, the U.S. is still going to be raising rates before everybody else. I mean, somehow people lost that. I mean, everybody knew about that. Oh, that's been the overall driving factor over the last year. But recently, when the dollar had lost, its gains and the euro kept going high, that's one of the reasons I said the euro won't. I said the high was in for the euro because it's not going to be able to gain anymore. Because even though everybody was focused on the very short run, over the course of a week to 2 weeks to 2 weeks, ultimately in the end, the US is still going to raise before everybody else. And people just didn't see that. I don't know how they didn't see it. It just goes to show you how the market is. So we take a look at the charts real quickly. I'm still going to take my break. Fabian asks, how is it possible to enter the inside call? Is it just premium? It's free, but it's closed. So the inside call is free, but it's just closed to traders on that. No offense to you, I'm just saying it's not open to other people. I don't sell anything, I don't market anything. Pretty much, I share everything I pretty much get. It's just that I share a whole lot more stuff on the inside call. Not all the time, I mean, I share trades I'm getting into or areas or levels or stuff like that. I didn't see the screen right now, but I don't know if that's on my side. There we go. Well, I mean, Trinity says, well, he wants to follow me. Well, you know what I mean? I share enough on Twitter. I think I share enough. Saying to sell the dollar yen at 9.36, which is a high pip. Saying to cover in the 20s, which is a very low. Saying to buy the dollar. I'm just, like I said, it's just a feed for people that are other traders I know. And it's a closed feed. It's been a closed feed since Moses crossed the desert. I appreciate the interest, but I'm just not going to go and open it up to anybody else. So let's go and take a look at the euro. I'm pretty puked about this damn computer with that getting locked up. Because I've been up over an hour and a half. It wasn't like as if I overslept. So we've gotten past this bias pivot, and I said it before anybody else that the top was in. I already told y'all that I got short right actually in here, right in here. And this nonsense up here was due to the RBA, just to get some perspective since it's a Friday. But I said the top is in, because there's no way that the euro had the juice to go higher. Now, I missed this short up here. That's really a pisser up here. But it is what it is. Like I said, most of my action today is now crude oil nowadays. I trade FX, but not like I used to. So it's not like the end of the world for me. But Blake and the guys in the chat room, they did short in here. I think Blake will still be short. So, well done for him. The euro doesn't even trade very well over the course of the last few weeks. What I'm saying is two-way trade. Yeah, like I said, props to the traders, the trend traders. They killed it. Got to tip the hat to them. They freaking killed it. But I'm saying the good two-way action hasn't traded that way in 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks. Maybe actually longer. So I just haven't done anything in the euro. There's enough action going on with crude oil that keeps me extremely busy. But this is that area. This is that area, that whole zone, so don't get too hyped up. It's probably Friday, a few people are having to exit. Plus we had, the rehash of that story, which I already talked about. That was my whole contention of why we couldn't go higher, is that ultimately when you look at it, the U.S. is still going to be raising before everybody else. That was my whole reason why we're going to go lower. I mean, people talked about that before, but obviously people lost sight of that on this move all the way up here. I mean, that just gives you perspective for the long haul. So everybody's losing their shirts, covering their euros. You're not one of them. And I will say this. I said this right here, that right after we made the sign. Right here, I said that, I go, you watch. 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from today, and that was when we were right here, and we already pulled back up. 2 weeks from today, the people who covered their shorts here are going to be regretting they covered their shorts. 2 weeks from that day, so this was what was that, the second or the third, whatever. So you just add 14 days to that. That'll be the 17th. I said 2 weeks from that day, people will regret that they covered the shorts up there. And then quite a few traders who covered the shorts. I didn't cover them all. I was happy to get out with just a couple of nickels. And then I missed this on the NFP day, and I missed this on this last one. I thought there was a good chance we would come up here, but obviously we ran out of gas before 14:55, so it is what it is. But I think this is still a good area right in here. I'm going to get rid of these. We talked about the significance of the 1365. So this is that zone here. Like I told you, I don't go by monkey patterns. I don't use oscillators. This is the zone here. 1365 is a bias pivot. And then here we have this zone I told you about. This is what I thought the market would come into, and really that bias pivot held like a champ. So you'd really rather see the market really fall apart here. But it's struggling here. I mean, probably next week we'll still end up working a little bit lower. But that's the deal, is that the Fed's still going to be raising rates, no matter what. All these other countries are in the crapper. Every country that's not named the United States is in the crapper. If you don't like it, well, you know what? That's your problem, not mine. It is what it is. So we're going to deal with the dollar CAD. And we already talked about this. I mean, I tweeted this out on the, and when I take a break, I will take a break. It's going to be a very short break. Because Friday's just a roundup day. We just kind of like go over what stuff is up for the weekend. We go over what's transpired over the week. Maybe a little look-see on what might happen for the week ahead. Really, there's not really a whole lot happening in FX overall. I mean, yeah, we caught right near the low with dollar. I mean, dollar CAD had a pretty good week. Dollar yen, Australian buck has just been going low. But it's, to me, I think it's kind of run out of gas. I haven't even looked at it. So if it dropped 100 pips or something like that, it'll be news to me. I haven't even looked at it. But yeah, so if this came into our 2794, we've been talking about this. It wasn't like we talked about this just yesterday. I had this marked off. I pointed out to Blake, these nice touches right here. You know the way that I trade. I look at everything's, you look at the touches, which I guess for a lot of people would be volume. I'm not going to put in a whole bunch of these. I think it's simple with volume. We already talked about that. The battle here. And again here. So it made sense they're going to go down here. And so everybody's trying to buy the dollar CAD up here. Well, what the hell are you trying to buy the dollar CAD up there for? You know it's going to come down here. Think about it. I mean, they fall here, They're bowing here, but I'm going to buy the dollar cat here. I mean, come on. You got a freaking brain? Well, you're going to buy it there. You know they're going to go and go below 28. You know they're going to go and test stops. You know they're going to make it to 27.94. But you're going to go and buy the dollar cat 30 or 40 pips higher. That does not make any sense. These markets trade on levels. The sooner you get through that, through your thick skull, the sooner you do better. So it came down to 27.94. If you look at this, right there, they took it out only by 5 pips. Now they rallied up, and I think they got up to like 28.11 or 28.14, and then they came back to retest. Now they came back to retest when crude oil took another spike up yesterday. And then they ended up holding here, and then we get this nice wick here, almost like a hammer bottom, and then the market bolts. And then someone's asking me, where should I have gotten out? Well, here's this zone here. And at the time, it was traded at 28.55. So well, if you want, you can get out here, because the person was asking, what's your time frame? Well, my time frame is really none of your business to start with. It was just a tag along because of how I was trading crude, and I was selling crude in the morning. And the guy asked me, oh, are you changing up your style? My trading style is none of your freaking business to start with. It was just a trade to hang on. That's what I told the guy. If you want to get out, this is a good area to get out if you just day trade it. And if you're going to hold it for a little bit longer term, I think I told him here 29. Oh, yes, at 29, just about 29, maybe 29.05 or something like that. But it's going to go higher. We should be able to make it up to 29.80 without too much trouble. So it was just a ride along with what I'm doing in crude. That's all it was. So we'll take a quick break, just only about 4 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we see the Aussie dollar continues to move lower. You know, I think Yasser had that, he talked about this. His target was 72.50. So this is the bottom of this zone. We can take a look at this here. We talked about this crazy Aussie. It trends so much. Once it gets going in one direction, it's hard to stop the train. And here we go, now we're going in the other direction. It's hard to stop the train. Obviously, since the RBA cut rates, it, suggesting that it'll probably be the same direction they keep on going for a while. But this 72.60 is pretty key. We'll come back here. See that here come across? So 72.60 has been a very key level. That's why I've got a market in the gold, blue, and you can see it's the bottom of this zone from 72.60 up to 75. Everything's on very backwards. This one, trying to get everything all reset back up. Okay, so anyway, we're pretty much overdone here in the Aussie. I told you, I don't know what he's going to do at this point. Obviously, it has a tendency to keep on trending, but, the 7260 is pretty huge. But, like I said, if Yasser's still short, he's done really well. They tried to pick themselves up off the floor, and it didn't last too long, right back down. This is a pretty key level right here, actually. It's going to look here. Look here. 7277, which is make it on here, see? Maybe they'll try and stretch a little bit more. I would expect them to find some kind of semblance of a bottom, right? Somewhere in here. We're not too far away. And then try and come back up here. Take out this high here. Maybe we'll make it up to like 74 and a quarter or something like that. Cable's still a whole bunch of nothing. We're just sitting here. We got to our target, 43.69. Well, we came up 5 pips short. But I'm saying is that was what we were talking about. Where is they going to go to? Well, here we said we need to hit the top. But where's from here? Where they're going to go to? We need to come back to the top of the zone, which would be now support. Of course, they overshoot it, and boom, there we are. It's basically the same premise. We saw here the euro. We're into the zone here. We've overshot the zone just a little bit. But I really do expect to find some okay, decent support. You see all the action here? I guess for those who use volume analysis, I use a little bit, but I'm just not that attuned or that good at it. But this whole area is going to be supported. Now, it's a Friday, but I don't think you have a lot of people on the wrong side of the euro. It's just not as if you could expect. Doesn't mean we wouldn't, but I don't think you necessarily expect, they're really going to hammer this thing out, because people on the wrong side of the market, most of the longs already got themselves clipped pretty good, so I don't think you have to worry there. Dollar CAD still looks like a pretty good shape, but we're going to go eventually higher, and if crude can set this top in here, then from there we should work higher, and boom, that's all right. The next, I can told that gentleman, we were right there in that area, and he was asking me, well, if you want to, get out. I go, we day traded, and I go, I said, and actually I said to 27.94, well, here's my target, 27.94, but I said, 27.94 area because they could overshoot it. Well, yeah, this is 5 pips, but that's basically 27.94. But I mean, they could overshoot it. And Blake was right too. He said he think they would be 27.50, which I didn't think so either. So I thought maybe they'd make it like, I think he said that 27.78 or low 80s or something. But I like this 27.94. But the point is, like I was telling the guy, well, if you bought it at 27.94, I go, you're up 60 pips. Jump out then if you just day trade. And if you want to go beyond that, then I think the next area is going to be, and I think it's like 29.05 or 29.08 or something. I don't remember. I said, here's your next level, but I do think that overall they'll be able to take out 29, go to the 29.80s, which will take out this area, I go, without too much trouble. So it just depends on what your perspective is and how long you want to hold it. Here's the deal with crude. I mean, this thing's really going gangbusters. But you can see here we had a nice little, to me, this is not a shooting star. Some people call it a shooting star. It's not a shooting star. Now, yeah, you see, if you pull it back here thinking, oh, there must be a shooting star. That's not a shooting star because the wick's not long enough. That's really a gravestone doji. And you can see, once you did this, wow, look at it come right back down here. Now you can say, well, they didn't fall completely far. Well, they did fall a pretty good chunk of change. I mean, the crude trade pretty volatile. Then we turn around and set this high at 47.02, and then we sell them off pretty good. And this is where I covered in here. I got short in the morning. And it was really not great at the price. I was kind of ticked at myself. I think it was 46.55, and I was even kind of mad at myself because what I did was I said, screw it, I'm just going to throw it on right here. So I threw it on there, and then it went up here like what a bunch of crap. And really, I wasn't day trading this really that much. I was just saying, screw it, this is my bid right here. I'm not gonna screw around with this thing because I thought, you know what, Joe, just let me set this pattern and then let it work higher. And so when I came in, that was actually the freaking low. I mean, when we were closed, it just starts going higher. I'm like, this really sucks. And my stop was in the 47.63, I think. And of course, it went lower. And then I retreated out on the inside call and to anti-fragility. Then we had the 38% at 45.50, a good level at 45.52. So when we came down here, I'm like, I'm not even screwing around with this BS. So it was sitting here at 75 or 72. I'm like, screw this, I'm out. So I jumped out of both of those, and I got re-short again at 46.17 and 37. Basically top ticked it on the 17, but then it came back up here, and I was going to get out at 46.09, and the low was 46.08. But I hung on, and there it goes right back up the stairs again. So I had two exits, one 45.95, I think it was, and then 7. So I'm out of that one, so I started going short for 46.37. I think we can break over here. Hence my trade in the dollar CAD. That was the whole thing. I wasn't trying to scalp the dollar CAD. But I think we can go on and break them lower for now. But we'll see. It's volatile as can be. I told people, if you want to know what's going on with crude, follow RBOB. And RBOB had gotten right into that level. And we can go and take a look at that right now. Okay, Elena says, can you move the mic closer because it sounds like you're talking very far away. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, actually, now I can, it makes me sound, the mic's big. It's one of those gigantic, like, it looks like, what was it? Blue mic. Okay, blue mic. Was it blue mic or something? Blue. Anyway, it looks like, like the kind that, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're really big. And so I try to keep it on the desk, but I just lay it down. Oh yeah, so let's just go to the crude oil real quick. Yeah, guy says the audio is much better now. I'm all discombobulated this morning, which did not do anything for my mood, to say the least. Okay, so here's the spiel on the crude. I haven't even updated these levels, because I pretty much know what I want to do on crude anyway. It's just a matter of looking on the 5-minute chart and see where they're going. But here's the area I was talking about. And you see here, I had 45.58. I actually had it on the 5-minute, I think I had 45.52. Anyway, so when it comes down here and sitting here doing a whole bunch of nothing, I'm like, screw this. I'm not going to stick around for this bull, you know what? So I got out here. And then we come up here and top ticket at 46.17 almost, but then it comes back and this really ticked me off. Look at that, 46.08, and I was going to go and get out at 46.09. I mean, because I had it at 46.37, so I said, screw it, I'll just take the quick money. And I said, but I put the stop or the limit at 45.95, and I'll be doggone. I was going to get out at 09, and here we go, right back upstairs. And I have to weather this bull, you know what? But anyway, so I'm out of that one, so that's it. But I think that we have a top here in the crude oil. But anyway, getting back here, I got the Brent on the Ninja, but anyway, it's easier because I got it on here on the TD metric. So let's pull it up on this one. So you can see here, and I tweeted out this chart. On the way down, nobody liked RBOB. And I was saying, I go, hey, look, we're coming into 78%. Here's my bias pivot at 44. I think we're going to get a bottom right here, and I go and probably get a reasonable good bounce or something like that. I don't know what I said on the inside call. No, crickets, freaking crickets. I don't hear anything from nobody. Then all of a sudden this thing takes on like gangbusters. I thought best case scenario, best case 49, 32. And it stopped it. I'll be doggone if that thing doesn't rip up. But my key thing was telling Blake yesterday is on the pullback, the last area that they found supported obviously was a bias pivot, but was at the 78%. And traders always remember stuff. I mean, in the sense that they're creatures of habit. So yesterday we were up here and I said, hey, now we're back at the 78%. You see, now it's 78%. Watch. Really, I just did that for other people. I know what the hell I'm doing. That was just for other people. So I was telling them, hey, look, now we're at the 78%. The last turn we had, turn of the market, was at the 78%. So we're back here. We're probably going to turn around again. Hence the sell-off in crude. And now we're pulling back. We've got some support in here, whatever, but it isn't going to make any difference. So we saw the sell-off in crude. I think the crude could accelerate today. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I could see us accelerating down here. Easily taking out to 38%, probably come down to this 45, 20-ish area. Possibly. But keep an eye on stuff. Here's a Brent. Came into this key area and just sat there for the longest of time. That's what I'm thinking is if it just sits there, there's a good chance we just probably start to roll over. Not a whole lot, but I'm saying enough where you see a decent, okay correction. So we'll take a look at the SPOOs. Everything's all discombobulated here because I'm trying to figure out how to manage this real estate. Seeing what'll work best. Okay, so let's just take a look at the SPOOs on a 2 hour. This thing's all over the frickin' place at this point now. And so we rallied up in here to 61%. We ran out of gas, and this was a pisser because I had my limit at 2080 and a half, and look at it. Makes it to 2079. Looks like 2079 and 3/4, and I had a limit to sell it at 2080 and a half. Then the wheels fell off the caboose. So we rallied back. This was a good area yesterday, but I had my hands full with crude. This is a very good area to got short again, which was 72. So they've really flipped the people around pretty good, but good. Yeah, they rallying pretty hard up here. They hold them here, then they break them pretty good down to 57.50. This is why I keep telling you all, it's all about levels. 57. See, I haven't even updated these things. I'm just moving them over. So they come all the way back down to 57.50. They sign support. They test it again, and then they take off like a bandit. And they run out of gas right here at 72. I don't know what this thing's doing right now. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I had pretty good feel for this thing on the way up, and I had a pretty good feel for this thing on the way down. Was dancing in and out here and there. And I don't know what the hell it's going to do right now. I don't really have a take. I don't know how retail sells. I don't even know. I have no idea. I mean, if you don't have any idea, then just stick to the levels. I don't know what it's going to do right now. I really don't. I'm not going to just throw something out there for the sake of flapping my gums. I don't know what it's going to do. I have no idea. I mean, we could just settle in here for now, and then I still think by August, before August, we'll be going to all-time highs in the SPOOs. Could be wrong, but that's my take. I mean, I'm just using, so when we get oversold, I'm more of a buyer. But I haven't really paid that much attention to the S&Ps over the last few days, so I don't really have a good feel, other than I tried to sell it up in here and missed it by 3/4 of a handle. You know, what it wants to do now. This move probably down here was a good area. I would have thought anything below 62.50 would have been good to buy. So obviously they made all the way to 57.50. On the way up, like I said, I glanced over it, but I'm not really paying attention to the SPOOs whatsoever. So there's been good action though, but I've been doing a bunch of other stuff and been busy with the crude, so don't have any time for SPOOs. The way that I trade it, I have to have a good feel for how the action is playing out for me to be able to participate. On the 30-minute, I mean, it's kind of been all over the place. We talked about that. Here's the 49 area. This is a very good area you've gotten in for those that did. Guess this happened overnight. Hell, I don't know when. This 46.75 has been like a champ. Look at that. Here, 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 and boom, 46.75. That's what I'm saying. These things move from level to level. It doesn't have anything to do with monkey patterns. It doesn't have nothing to do with oscillators. If y'all want to believe that, then go ahead, believe it. I could care less. This has nothing to do with oscillators. You can see it moving from level to level within the zones. We fall back in. You can see these 57.50, 52.50, the 46.75. I mean, they're just, like I said, you know, you trade the way you want to trade. That's up to you. And we'll have to see, getting back to well, anyway. So we're going to have retail sales out. That's going to move the SPOOs. I don't give a, you know what, on this PPI. It's final demand. Who gives a rat's, you know what, about this crap. But the retail sales will have an impact. I think right now, it's easy to say that, but right now it's just a trader's market. I think, and when I say a trader's market is you really have to be attuned to the levels in the SPOOs right now. And you're probably better off looking at something like, maybe not a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart to get a feel of how this market is moving. So you got, the key ones are going to be, once again, I don't give a rat's, you know what, about PPI since it's final demand. They're going to be retail sales and University of Michigan. I mean, are we seeing the consumer get a little bit more confident? I think that, like I said before, that's my whole reason why I got short the SPOOs, why I went from bullish to bearish that same day at 2104 was because I think this mercurial run that we've had in crude is going to whack the consumer confidence going forward. It might even hurt it on this one, but I think the next month it's going to hurt it. So, and I don't know if the market, I don't think it's set up for, wow, bad news is good news. Meaning bad news means that the Fed is going to be pushing them further out. I don't think so. So I think that the risk is going to we keep making dips to lower lows here, and then we'll pop them back up, but they'll fade them. Then we put dips to lower lows, and then they pop back up and we fade them. Like his news comes out with a negative tone. So I think this 42.25 would be pretty key. Really, this area will probably overshoot it, so somewhere between here and the 38.25. And then we're coming into the weekend, so you have to be a little bit careful, but you're probably in a better position to fade any rallies against this 57.50 would be my take. And I haven't even followed the SPOOs. I've only glanced at them. I've got them on the screen. I've only glanced. Like I said, I've been busy as hell with the crude and other stuff, so I just haven't had a chance. I've tried really paying much attention to the SPOOs. But anyway, Blake should be coming on.